Hi there and welcome to my first Shotcut video, which focuses on how to use the Shotcut tools. It's important to know how to use these tools before you start down some dead-end paths. Here you can see my Linux version's 22 and my Shotcut version's 25. Like and subscribe to get this video out there, and let's get started. First we'll delete these two guys. And this is the Shotcut screen. The first time I brought it up, you notice it defaults to your user folder. We're going to create a temp project. So here's how you do it the proper way. You click up here on your projects folder. By the way, this should be named projects folder bin. Projects folder bin. Because it's actually a bin where you put the project folders. It's not where your project's going to live. So that's a little bit misleading. So we click on this and we go to where we want to have our project folders bin, which I'm going to put mine under videos and under Shotcut. I'm going to select that. So now when I give my new project a name, I'm going to call it temp. It's a temporary project. We'll just call it temp, T-E-M-P. And I start. Let's take a look at what happened here. If we go to my Files Manager and look up Videos, Shotcut, you'll find a temp folder. And in that temp folder, you'll find an MLT file. This MLT file is what keeps track of all the changes you make to your project. So my point here is that Shotcut creates the folder for your project under the bin folder, which is called Shotcut in my case. If you go and try to create a folder somewhere else and use it, Shotcut's going to fight you because it wants to create its own folder under that bin location. So now we've got that out of the way. These panels are dockable, which means you can click on the header of a panel and you can move it to different locations. My playlist is docked right here. And if you can't find it, you can always come over here and click on it, playlist. My filters, if you notice my filters, I don't see them. So I'm going to make the filters visible. And now the filters are down here. Now it always makes this too big. So I always come right here, just a little these string of dots. The filter needs a lot of room. There's a lot of parameters that can show up in a filter. So I always make this smaller, this larger. The other thing you need to know is you need to have a peak meter. I just turned it off. If you can't see it, you click it, turn it on, and it's over here. And it can also be dockable, but I like to keep it right here, besides the player panel. And another one is jobs. If you don't see the jobs, you can turn it on once again. And right here is where I keep mine. Down here at the bottom, we have the timeline panel. It's timelines and keyframes. If you click on keyframes and timeline, determines what displays down here. So that's how I arrange my panels. If you arrange your panels in the same position, then the videos will be much easier for you to follow. So now we have a project started. We have to bring in some items. Now, there's two ways to bring in media files. We can click on Open File and go to where your media. I'm just going to use pictures for this simple project because videos and pictures are treated the same. So we can just use pictures, which simplifies everything. So I'm going to open up this scanner. Video. Notice it places it in the player. First thing you bring in gets placed in a player. So I want to keep it over here in my playlist, so I'm going to move it over. It's still in the player. Let's bring in a second item. Tooltips. Once again, it puts it in a player. So I'll place this image over here also. Now we have two images that we can work with. So to actually use these images, we have to drag them down to the timeline. So we just drag them down here. Place them, and it opens up a video timeline because it treats images like videos. We bring in a second image, throw it up here on video timeline number 2. It's just two pictures that have a slight overlap. And notice that the track on top covers up the track on the bottom. And that's the way this is stacked in layers. The bottom layer is covered by upper layers. So you have to consider that when you're working with the program. I want to point out here that when you click source, what you get is the last thing that was loaded. So now we have this thing loaded. I want to point out a couple of things. Let's go ahead and save a project. So we're going to go up here and export. When we export, the export panel shows up down here. We're going to export video and audio, and that's where you want to put it. See, it doesn't know. Export does not use your project folder automatically. So we have to go and tell it where to put it. Go to put it in this temp folder. And then it says, what's the file name? The file name is temp. It's going to be an MP4. We're going to save it. Now while it's saving it up here under jobs, you see there's the job status. It shows the percentage of completion and the time remaining. And once it's finished, then it shows you the time that it took. It took 9 seconds to compile that video. So now if we go back and look in our folder, project folder now has the video and has this MLT file which defines the project. Now we found in the past, since 2017, people reported an occasional situation where the program fails to load the temp MLT file. It won't load the file. And what happens, you lose a lot of work. Whatever work you had involved in that MLT file gets lost. So there's a workaround you need to know about. And you come up here to settings. Under settings, we have backup. Under backup, you can do manual backup, hourly, daily, or weekly backups. I'll leave it on manual for right now. My voice cuts out because I've got some kind of a throat issue going on. So now I come over here and we can say backup and save. If you notice down here, it tells you it's saving a backup right now. So it saved a backup. So let's go look see what that looks like. So we go back here again. Videos, Shotcut, temp. Notice it's the project name with the timestamp. So now if this thing should fail to open, I can always open this one. So I recommend anytime you save a project, and the way you normally save it is you go up here and you click the save button. Notice it'll say it's saving it into that file. If it's worth saving into that file, it's worth doing a backup at the same time, just by clicking backup and save. Now it won't actually do a backup if there's no changes. So let's go look at this again. Now we have the second backup with the timestamp. You see one's 8:27 and one's 8:37. So I recommend you do that every time because there have been cases, I had it happen once to me already, where the MLT file will not open and all your work is gone unless you've taken the extra step to do this backup. Okay, I want you to take a look at this image for a minute. This comes from the Shotcut website. It talks about an autosave feature. Every 60 seconds it does an autosave. If your program crashes or your computer crashes, when the program starts up again, if that file is readable, it'll ask you, do you want to recover? And that's your chance to recover for an unexpected crash. So that's built into the program. It works automatically. One of Shotcut's features has to do with overlapping things, and you get transitions due to the overlap. Well, you got to be careful because if you're doing videos and you take a smaller video and you're sliding it sideways and you accidentally end it on top of the other one, It's going to insert into that other one and screw your whole timeline up. Anytime you're moving a video, make sure you stay on that same timeline. Don't let it drop down on you. If it does get it back up for you, let go of the clicker, you're going to create issues. I've had it done. If you do get in a situation where you create an issue, you go up here under edit and you can undo the last thing you did. Just letting you know in advance that it's quite possible you will end up overwriting something you didn't intend to. In fact, if you look right now, you see this picture's all short now. It's all screwed up. So be careful of that while you're using this program. Next, I want to talk about Shotcut file path issues. Here you can see there's this file up here, shotcut.conf. That is created by the program. Every time you close the program, it's updated. It contains these three important paths. And you can read here and see what the paths are. I'm not going to sit here and repeat them. But basically, these paths are stored by the program when you close the program. That's not how it should be. These paths should be stored by the project MLT file. This way, when you switch projects, these paths switch with the project. Unfortunately, these three paths are currently stored in the program config file. Now maybe we can, if we all start complaining about it, maybe we can get the Shotcut developers to implement this change to put these three paths in the MLT file. So in conclusion, I find Shotcut Video Editor to have some warts, but all programs do. These warts seem to have workarounds as presented here. So good luck using the program. I think it'll work fine for you if you keep these issues in consideration at all times.